Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I am covering the Moscow, Idaho case. Let's talk about Bryan Kohberger and the newest media reports that Bryan Kohberger had an ID of one of the victims inside his parents' home when he got arrested. There's some news reports out there using unnamed sources saying that Bryan Kohberger had an ID of one of the victims. I'm not so sure I believe those news reports. Nothing on the affidavit of probable cause that I've read said anything about IDs of any of the victims. It seems like the mainstream media is so desperate to find a connection between Bryan Kohberger and the victims. A lot of news reports, misinformation that I feel is misinformation about Kohberger, texting or going into the DMs of some of the victims, or Bryan Kohberger visiting the Mad Greek, and now Bryan Kohberger having a trophy, one of the IDs of one of the victims, but always used unnamed sources in these reports. I have yet to see any connection between Bryan Kohberger and any of the victims. I haven't heard anyone come forward saying that they've seen Bryan Kohberger with any of the victims or around the victims, or anything in police reports or affidavits of probable cause that I've seen, and I've obtained open records from Pullman, Washington through their police department, even what Moscow, Idaho released, and all the court records that Moscow, Idaho, his case, all the court records, nothing at all with any of a connection whatsoever with Bryan Kohberger. So the question is that news report that was used with unnamed sources saying that Bryan Kohberger had an ID, is that legit or not? Is that truth? Do you think Bryan Kohberger had an ID of one of the victims? If it is true, and I don't think it is, I mean, that is almost like a smoking gun, having a trophy, a piece of property to one of the victims. That's damaging evidence to me, but I think media just wants to throw things out. Some media outlets have been playing, in my opinion, both sides of the fence when it comes to this case. Some information they report is true, while others is way far-fetched, particularly the far-fetched allegations. See, the true stuff, they always, have witnesses or people to corroborate, to come on and go on the record and say what they're claiming. But when it comes with these bombshell information, when it comes to the case, it's always with unnamed sources, anonymous sources, people not named. And to me, that makes me feel like media's playing both sides of the fence. They want to put out some true information. They don't. They just want to keep the story going, so people, tune into that particular network, feeling that network gets all the scoops and all the inside information. I mean, there's a gag order, people. There's a gag order. A lot of the stuff that's coming out, the departments and the agencies like the Moscow police and the prosecution office, and even Bryan Kohberger's public defender, Ann Taylor, they can't respond to these claims because there's a gag order in place. So pretty much it gives people the free pass to just say whatever they want without giving specifics. Who knows, they say an ID of one of the victims, but they don't say the victim's name, which victim Bryan Kohberger had an ID of. So I'm in Moscow, Idaho. I'm in the area. I'm also covering the Lori Vallow case. So for the next few days, check out my channel, because I'm going to be posting more Moscow, Idaho material. I am boots on the ground. I am in the area, walking and getting a little cardio before I get to work. So subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. Let me know about what I just said. Does it make sense, or am I just blowing smoke? We'll talk soon. Hallway. Going down the path to find out what happened in Moscow, Idaho. Everyone be safe. God bless. Justice for the victims and their families.